Dunton Diet Coke. Why did I say it like that? And to who? I feel good about this. Oh my God. Hi. Episode 8. Here we are. We're doing this. We're getting so close to double digits. Welcome to I Feel Good About This podcast. If it's your first time joining us, welcome. If you have joined us before, welcome back, baby. We're happy to have you. You might remember from the end of last episode where I make a very earnest / desperate plea for 500 subscribers to the YouTube channel. Maybe you didn't finish the whole thing and you didn't quite get there. Either way, I'm here to remind you that I'm still looking for that. So if you can tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that we are subscribable, we're open to being subscribed to. And if you have a friend who likes jokes, who likes to see a woman spend time on very minuscule things that sort of either bother her or bring her life more joy in a further deteriorating society, this is the place for them. If you know any queer people, send them on my way. We can be queer together. If you've ever met a woman, send them over here. I am also a woman. If you've ever met a man, if you've ever met a non-binary person, send them my way. I'm here for all of you who can relate to whatever I'm saying, which changes weekly and is always completely out of left field. So what I'm saying is there's a large swath of subjects that could interest people you know. So please share. And make sure when you're sharing, you're asking people to subscribe. That's the really important stuff. They don't have to start watching every episode immediately, but as long as they subscribe, I will continue to show up on their feed and they will see when we're putting out new content and see if it works for them. So, like, subscribe, comment, whatever the kids are saying, do that thing. And let's get into episode 8. Dunton Diet Coke. Why did I say it like that? And to who? If you know, queens. Grab your fridge cigarettes. You haven't heard that before?
What is that?
The voice or the fridge cigarette? People online are often referring to Diet Coke as a fridge cigarette, which is pretty great.
What's in it?
Girl, you couldn't read the ingredient list if you were paid $1 million. You would not get through it without knowing how to pronounce even a single syllable. I think the thing you could pronounce on the ingredients list is water. Okay, we're at our first segment. It's I Feel Good About This week. And I want to start off with something, depending on when you're watching this, I don't know. But when we're recording this, we're sort of slipping into the fall vibes moment. And I want to come out here and say I feel good about pumpkin spice. Now, I will say we've gone a little far with it. It's in everything, it's everywhere. But what I feel good about is enjoying something that tastes good. And I want y'all to let me enjoy that without calling me basic, without making me feel like I have to justify the fact that I enjoy it. Be like, oh my God, like I'm not basic, but like I just love the spiciness of a pumpkin spice latte. And I want to punish for it because I won't. Why do things that women like often come off as being basic? You know what I mean? I have a friend who is like a certified black coffee drinker, right? Has been since day one. Pretends that she's not judgy about other people who want to have cream in their coffee, but secretly is. And we were talking on the phone. I think we were FaceTiming, being very ugly in the morning, and I was putting together my coffee, and I just got this pumpkin spice creamer to put in my coffee. And baby, when I tell you that's the thing that got me out of bed, like I need that. You know what I mean? Like we need the things that get us out of bed. I was excited to make my coffee with pumpkin spice creamer and have a great day. And of course she's joking, but she's like, oh my God, pumpkin spice is so basic. How dare you? And then she's like, no, 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 I'm kidding. Anyone, enjoy your pumpkin spice, whatever. But I knew she wasn't really joking because I've been to her house and before she had kids, she never had any milk in her house. And when it was coffee in the morning, it was like, oh, we don't have any milk. And I was like, I can feel you judging me through my choices. I'm sorry, I like my coffee creamy, okay? I do. And I'm sorry for saying the word creamy because it's gross. But I like a bit of cream. I like a bit of pumpkin spice. And I like a bit of fanfare when it comes to my coffee. Look, I can drink a black coffee, gun to my head. I have to. The only option, I'll do it. But what I want is for that rocket fuel to be spiced up in a delicious way so I can pour it down my gullet and have a spicy tingle on the back of my throat as I'm drinking it and enjoy my cup of coffee that's going to get me through the day and get me up and get me out of bed. So I would like to say justice for people who enjoy a latte, who don't enjoy a straight black coffee, and in particular, the girls and boys and non binary royalty who enjoy a flavored coffee. You know what's great in the winter? A little peppermint mocha. We love. And I want to enjoy these things. Why do we have to judge each other left and right? Sorry, I'm getting incensed, but I'm already anticipating people just being like, I can't drink coffee that sweet. That's totally, I love that you love that, but I can't do it. I can't drink my coffee that sweet. Okay, nobody fucking asked you to. Can I? And that's all I'm asking for. In like a very nice, chill way, obviously, because I was normal about that, right? Um, if you guys want to let me know in the comments how normal I was about confronting that within me in a situation that hasn't happened yet, but I know is coming, let me know how normal I am. I feel good about that. Oh, I wonder if she's gonna be mad I didn't say her name. She constantly tells me when she watches the show, waits for her name to skip my lips. She's like, there was one time where I was talking about my really super supportive friend, and then I said Brandon, and she was like, I'm gonna shut my computer off. The next thing that I feel good about this week is that I am a self-proclaimed slutty laugh. Now, what does that mean? It means that I will laugh at anything. I think a lot of things are funny. In fact, that's sort of the reason why I started this podcast because I need more laughter in my life, given the fact that, again, I hate referencing this all the time, but it's like, how can I not? The world is literally falling apart. And so I need more joy and laughter in my life. And I've always been like that. If something is funny, I want to have a good yuck about it, a good chuckle, a good ha ha, he he. You know what I mean? And those people who are so aggressively like, I don't just fucking laugh at anything. It's got to be funny. And it's like, yeah, of course it has to be funny, but like, have you paid attention? There's so much funny shit out there. And I don't understand why it serves someone to makes them feel better about themselves if they're not a slutty laugh and they're a difficult laugh. Like, first of all, I will say I am almost in absolute hysterics when it comes to my own jokes. And sometimes I can't even get to the end before I sort of fall apart laughing maniacally. And sometimes people don't even hear me, but and it's truthful in that moment that is for me because I really enjoy what I'm making fun of or what I'm laughing about. And I hope you will too. Of course, if you can hang on long enough to hear me say the punchline while I get my own laughs in. I am nothing if not my own biggest cheerleader. And I am loud. And if you say something funny, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your story is. I'm fucking laughing at it because I chase joy. You know what I mean? I chase it. I don't try to keep an arm's distance from my joy. I want to live life to the fullest. So excuse me that I'm a girl who enjoys a good dad joke or honestly, kids' jokes are so funny when they're told by a child. Like, have you ever, I was just about to say, like, have you ever watched children on the internet and then, like, I would literally in 0.3 seconds, I was like, please don't say that. Please don't say that. That's going to, taken out of context, that sounds insane. But you know what I mean. People who exploit their kids for comedy on the internet. And they, like, my algorithm knows me because my TikTok and my Instagram is like tons of children. Oh God. I'm using it again. I love children in the normal, loving way you love children, and they're funny. And sometimes strangers' kids on the internet are hilarious. And they do either joke telling that they're aware of and they're trying to tell a joke and they like mess it up and it's so funny and you get a good belly laugh out of that, or they're doing something completely unintentionally funny. So I guess what I'm saying is continue to exploit your children on the internet for views, likes, clicks, money even. And also make sure that if you are the kind of person who is moving through life with sort of a tough guy demeanor and I don't, it takes a lot for me. It's only the best of the comedians that can get me, straight to the chuckle house. What am I saying? I implore you to loosen up a little and laugh at things that tickle your funny bone. And if you can't find many things that tickle your funny bone, you may be too serious of a person to be alive. So you know what I'm saying. I literally need a filter.
You spiraled on your own.
I've never needed any help to spiral. I am a good person.
Good people have to say that.
You're right. So I'm not going to say it. Okay, here we are at I don't feel good about this week. And the very first thing that I don't feel good about is I had a dream that I was a Karen. And I feel really fucking bad about that. Let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story. And I realize nobody wants to hear about other people's dreams. It's one of the least, favorite story delivery tactics of all time. But stick with me. I'm not just going to tell you about some random dream. I'm going to tell you about the most fucking, like, harrowing dream that I've ever had. So I ran out of my melatonin, which is 6 milligrams. And so I asked my wife if I could have a piece of her melatonin, which she has by her bed, her own very own bottle. Her melatonin is 12 milligrams, which is obviously higher than what I'm used to taking. But I was like, whatever, let's just go for it. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. um, but what I didn't account for was the fucking wild dreams. And I had this dream. Okay, let me set the scene for you. From what I can, these are the details that I can remember. I was at a house party. I was aware that I was drunk. I knew that I was drunk. I could like feel it. And I walked down the stairs to a basement and there were a couple of people sitting on the couch and I don't know who they were, but there was one woman sitting there and I decided to start a conversation with her. And the one thing I remember about her was that she had a British accent. That's it. That's all I remember about her. And I said, "So, what do you do for a living?" And she goes, "Oh, I work for the House Treasury." And I was like, "The House Treasury, what is that?" And she gave me like, that painful look that someone gives you when they're like, "You stupid bitch. How do you not know what the house treasury is? Like, you should know that. Are you dumb? Did you grow up under a rock?" And so she just stared at me with that look for like an uncomfortable amount of time. And so I tried to like prompt her. I was like, "Oh, I'm not sure what that is. Is that a government body? Like what is?" And she goes, well, you really should know what the house treasury is. And like shamed me in that moment. And I was drunk because remember, I could feel that I was drunk in this dream and furious. How dare you treat me like I'm an idiot? I was just being nice and trying to have a conversation with you. So I was like incensed. And I went upstairs. This is where it gets bad. I went upstairs and I wrote, I remember very specifically, on a yellow legal pad, the person's name. I don't remember the person's name. Let's call her Stacy for now for ease of the story. And I wrote, Stacy assaulted me. Like, she didn't. But I was so mad. And I felt like she treated me like shit. So I wrote, Stacy assaulted me in all big letters. And then I took a picture of it with my phone and like blasted it all over social media. And I'm like, so, like, my brain is like, what? And it went viral. And so it was like everywhere. And I was like so proud of myself. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting one over on this Stacy girl who treated me like shit when she didn't have to, when I was just being kind to her. And so then I decided this party's over. And so I'm going to drive home. Remember, I am drunk and I'm aware that I'm drunk and I make the decision to drive home, a thing I would never, ever, ever do now. And, or at any point, not now. I mean, like, that's not, I don't like drunk driving. It's very dangerous. Like, of course, there is no point where I'm drunk driving, whether, unless I'm dreaming about it. Anyways, so I'm driving home. Thank God I make it home safely, but I know I'm doing something wrong. I'm like aware of it. And so then I'm like, thank God Stacy got her just desserts from me. And people are gonna like see this on the internet and like get her fired and like all this stuff. And then I drift off to sleep, or more likely, since I am drunk in this dream, I pass out and I wake up again, still in the dream. I wake up with like incredible remorse. And I like look through my phone and I see all of this activity around this thing that I posted about this woman assaulting me, even though she didn't assault me. And I'm like, oh my God, how in the world can I walk this back? There's no way I can put the snake back in the can. I don't know what that expression is. I made it up in the moment. But for context, I was thinking of one of those things where you like, it looks like a Pringle can and it's like a joke can and you open it up and then like a toy snake jumps out and you're like, oh my God. That's what I was thinking when I came up with the analogy. You can't put the snake back in the can. So just a little side note for you. Um, and so I wake up with all this remorse and I feel horrible and I'm like, how do I walk this back? How do I walk this back? And then I wake up. So it's like I couldn't fix it in my dream. I woke up feeling horrible. And I was like, oh my God, like, why was that inside of me to be like this Karen? And then I started thinking, deeper and deeper. And I was like, is there like a terrifying Karen inside all white women? And we're doing our damnedest to like stay. Well, some of us are not doing our damnedest to keep her tamped down. I understand that, like, there's a lot of Karens running around who are Karening and think they're in the right all the time. Of course, you have eyes in the internet and, a device in your hands. But it was just so jarring to me that I was like, oh my God, I in no way in my waking state would feel completely incapable of doing something like that. But my dream made me do it. So I'm terrified. I do feel like this dream is the one thing that is probably going to push me over the ledge and send me back to therapy to sort of do a lot of internal work, because what the fuck is wrong with me? So no, I do not feel good about the fact that I was a Karen in my dream this week. I was really horrified by that, by the realization that I think every white woman is conditioned to have a little Karen in her. The privilege that we're just sort of inundated with all the time. You internalize it, you know?
You know, I think it's not Karen specific or women specific. I think it's
Mhm.
just we're all angry and there's deep stuff there. Also, what's the
Totally.
melatonin?
It's
That
the
gets you going.
melatonin.
It's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Like it's coming for you in your dreams.
Oh my God. I would really like to believe that because I woke up like being like,
Not you.
thank you. And thank you for being the person of color to reassure the white woman in this room that she's
You're
okay.
okay. You're everything you're doing is right.
Everything you're doing is right.
You're,
And thank you for your
you
emotional
love showing
labor.
your own mind.
Remind me again why I decided to do this podcast. I'm not coming out looking like roses. So the next thing I don't feel good about this week is it's going to take me a little bit of a moment to get there because I do feel really good about watching period pieces. Um, I love a period piece in a television show or a movie. And by period piece, of course, I mean, something that is in a very specific time, usually, hundreds of years before. Watch a lot of K dramas that are like in like the 1500s, or, watch a lot of like British shows from like 1826. You know what I'm talking about? Those kinds of things where we're really we're really focusing back in time, not within like, not the shows that are coming out that are like in the 90s. I don't consider those period pieces because that was my childhood. And I feel like when I see things that are like throwback to the 90s, like that was 10 years ago. It's so wild that we're doing a TV show 10 years ago. But I also remember like when I was in my 20s, we used to have like 80s parties. And I remember like Gen Xers was like, that was yesterday, y'all. And I was like, no, it wasn't. It was 30 years ago. Whatever, I've lost myself. Let's get back to period pieces because I do love them. Pride and Prejudice. I just finished the incredible K drama called Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. I started watching that show on Netflix called House of Guinness, which is in Ireland. I actually don't know the time period, but it's after like the main Guinness guy died, and the kids are like trying to keep things going for Guinness under the British rule. I am nothing if not a historian. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about like 1800s ish. I was thinking, like, I love watching those shows, but like, I get stuck on very specific details sometimes. It's like when I went to medieval times and like went to the bathroom, and I was like, automatic flusher? That's inauthentic. We should be going in a hole in the fucking ground. If you're gonna tell me this is medieval times, let's make it medieval, baby. Which is why I didn't want to go to medieval times anyways. And so when I'm watching these shows, in particular, I was a big fan of Outlander, which I think is on its last season or the last season is about to come out. During the pandemic, got really stuck in on that and like binged the shit out of Outlander, which is in like the 1740s in Scotland, and there's a lot of sex in that show. And one of the reasons that it's really difficult for me to sort of stay in the moment is because I know that like these travelers have been on the road for a week, and then all of a sudden things are getting sexy, and we're pulling up our skirts, and we're pulling up our kilts to reveal our genitals, hopefully in the anticipation that someone's slobbing on that knob or getting in there, you know what I mean? And all I can think is, I don't think you've seen a bath for a month. I don't. And look at you sharing fluids when you are so filthy, particularly like because there's such a major class system in the UK at this time, and I think still exists today, but I won't comment on that. And so people who were of lower class and had less money had also less access to cleanliness and are sleeping in the woods and traveling, and it's like, I know that smells awful. And you know it does too. And I try to sort of get lost in the moment and think about the romance of it all, but I can't help but wonder how stinky that oral sex is. I'm sorry if you haven't thought about it before. Now you're going to think about it every time you watch something like that. And I want you to, because I'm there too. I want you to live in hell with me. And then the second thing I really can't wrap my head around that I do not feel good about is, sorry, we're in 1745 England or Scotland, wherever the fuck we are. Everyone's got those thick white veneers and those chompers that are so strong and capable. And honey, not to make fun of British teeth, that's such low hanging fruit. But I do want to draw attention to the fact that in 1745, I think like a 27-year-old would have like 6 teeth. And that shit would be brown as hell. And I think that they used to use like roots to brush their teeth from a tree. So I know like we're not getting fluoride treatments or like going to Turkey and getting those things shaved down and a whole new set put in that you can see from space. Like, no, babe, if we are going to be authentic, I want to see the 4 stragglers you have in front that are the color of uncooked corn, and then the 2 hanging on in the back that are the chewers, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, if I'm gonna have mutton, I gotta send it to the back because this is all I can do to get through it, and it's gonna take me 7 minutes to chew on a piece. So you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking of when I'm watching these shows, instead of like these perfect toned actors with like gorgeous teeth. And I'm like, let's get real. Let's get real here. If we're doing a period piece, let's do it. Let's be authentic, you know? So I don't feel good about that. Okay, now we have reached our final segment. I don't know how I feel about this week. And this one is a little embarrassing. But look, everything I've said up to this point has been embarrassing. So I don't know why I'm like showing my shame now. I'm full of it. It's on my face all the time. Anyways, so as we all know, I am pinching pennies since my unemployment. And I am also a skincare girly. I love skincare. I don't think there's a person alive who isn't a skincare girly, at least slightly. But, you know, I have a pretty specific routine. And you know, it's an expensive habit, but I feel like investing in my skin is really important. You know, you only have one face. If you know you don't have the funds to sort of get another one. And so I'm doing all I can in terms of preventative care. And so this morning I ran out of my vitamin C serum, which I was like, okay, I know that I have a vitamin C serum that I saved from like 6, maybe 7 months ago, where it was like, I'd gotten a new one. And I was like, I don't love this one, but I'll save it for a rainy day. Well, guess what? The rainy day was here. Okay. So I went, and it was a Coast RX vitamin C serum, which is a brand I love. Like, this is not anything against the brand. This is more of a me thing. And so I go to squeeze it out in my hand, and it's in a dark glass bottle because if you know anything about skincare, vitamin C serum shouldn't have too much exposure to the sun because it can mess with it and make it less effective. And something about oxidation. Look, I know I've said that I'm a scientist before, and I am a scientist and a doctor and a lawyer. And but you know, I have my specialties, and so this isn't really one of mine. Again, still a scientist. And I go and I pull out this serum, and I can't see what it looks like because it's in the bottle. And I take the dropper and I squeeze it into my hand, and I see that this is dark brown, which is not the color it normally is. It's normally like a translucent, like slight amber color. And I think, oh, okay, well, it is old. Um, Maybe it's just like oxidized. Again, a word I don't like, I get it, but like I don't really get it. You know what I mean? And so I go ahead and I sort of move it in between my hands. and take my hands apart, and they look like I've rubbed self-tanner all over my hands, super orange. And I go, well, guess this is what it is now. And I put it directly on my face, rub her in, get the neck, and I pull my hands away and I get a little peek in the mirror. And it literally looks like I have taken a squirt of self-tanner, rubbed it all over my face, and now my face is like a burnt orange. And not only that, it dries down and it was so sticky. And so I was like, this can't be saved. What am I doing? And so then I had to go and wash my face again using more of my face wash and then using my toner again. So what I had done was I had actually, in the pursuit of trying to save more money by using old expired product, I ended up having to use more of my good product to counteract the effects. The thing that I don't know how to feel about is like, is that bad? Like, is something gonna happen to me because I did that? And I'm not gonna do it again. I will spend the money and get the new serum, but I do have some other expired products back in that dresser right there that I was thinking this is fine to use. An expiration date is a suggestion at most. So I know I should go through and just see which ones are, a completely different color than they should be. But I don't know how I feel about, what if they look good and they smell fine? Can I still use them? I want I want you to say yes. And I don't want you to say no. But if it is no, then I got to do a lot of buying. And that is a really unfortunate thing. So I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't know how I feel if I want you to tell me exactly what I want to hear or if I want you to give me the cold hard truth. And it's very rarely the cold hard truth. So I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, that's it. We did it. That was episode 8 in the books. It was a delight for me. I hope it was a delight for you. If you like what you saw, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, write a comment that is respectful and kind, and sort of yes manning me throughout my life. I'm really not open to feedback. And make sure you follow us on all social media. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and I think that's it. But those two are important, and YouTube. And you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts too. If you want to do a listen only moment, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on other things that I don't know exist, but we're there. So please follow us, share with your friend. A reminder, we're trying to get to 500 subscribers, so make sure that if you're listening, you're also subscribed. And I can't wait to see what insane shit I come up with next week. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I feel good about this.